You can really stand if you want to, but since it's going to be about an hour long, I thought you might want to sit. 4.5 years ago, in July of 2005, and quite frankly, it seems like only a few months ago, I was asked to come to the Cathedral. And I think I was asked to come for 3 reasons. The first was to handle weddings. And when I use the word handle, what that really entailed was making all the preparations for the couple to get married. That meant meeting with them all and some of the other aspects of it, which was fairly consuming time-wise. That's pretty much what caused me to come in pretty much every day. I would say that it probably represented 80% of my efforts and time, and I enjoyed it immensely, but nonetheless. Anyway, the other 2 were handling baptisms, which consisted of really just scheduling them and then performing them. We do about 100 baptisms a year, which sounds like a lot, but they're all spread out because they're almost every week and virtually all at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. It's a rare Sunday that there isn't at least one, so I'm thinking we probably average 2, so that comes to 100. And I thoroughly enjoyed that too. It took up some time, but really not all that much. And ironically, the thing that took up the least amount of time was the thing that I think gives me the greatest presence and the thing I enjoyed the most, and that's preaching. So there's something strange there. Anyway, along about March and April, I started having thoughts about, how much longer do I really want to do this? And I hit what is known as a decade birthday. That's when the decades change. There's something psychological about it. 40 didn't bother me much, neither did 50 and 60, but 70, I'm really now a senior citizen. And I faked it when I was in my 60s, but my 70s, I can't fake it anymore. So my health is good, but at the same time, I began to ask myself the question, how many more years of good health do I have? I mean, who's to say? I could have 20, but logic says probably not. So that combined with the fact that our closest children and grandchildren live in North Carolina, that's not exactly next door. So I started having thoughts, and I discussed it, of course, with my wife and a few other people. And the more I thought about it, the more it seemed like it was time. Everybody always says, you'll know when it's time. I guess you do, but I still had doubts. Because quite frankly, I didn't want to leave here. Because the plain fact of the matter is, if I drop weddings and baptisms, which is what I wanted to do, the needs of the cathedral are too great to allow for a part-time deacon. Just coming in occasionally and preaching is really not in the cards. And I understood that and accepted it, but I had to totally put my arms around it too, which I found difficult to do. But ultimately, I came to the conclusion that it was the thing to do. And at the time, I kind of thought that it probably meant retiring, because I did use that R word. I don't like the R word. But as time went on, I looked around and I realized that it might be difficult because what it required was a small parish. I wanted it to be in the immediate Syracuse area. I wanted it to be without a deacon now. And it needed to be with a pastor who was just looking for a little bit of help. Maybe once a month come in and do some preaching. And really nothing more. And I wasn't sure I'd find such a creature. So as maybe luck would have it, or I'd like to think maybe the Holy Spirit was at work, I don't know. But in any event, along about August, I came across the parish called All Saints. Now, most people are not familiar with it because it's a fairly new parish. It's the result of a merger between Our Lady of Solace on East Avenue off Salt Springs Road and St. Therese, which is on Lancaster Avenue right next to the Harrison Center behind Syracuse University. And they changed the name to encourage the people to come there. And they're in St. Teresa's building, which ironically was the church in which we were married. So that was kind of an indication that maybe this was the move to make. And the more I thought about it, and the more I discussed with the pastor, who I've known for a good long time and have a great deal of respect for, it seemed like the right thing to do, so I did it. So I made it known here and moved on. And ironically, only a few months ago, another opportunity has presented itself, which seems to mesh right into this whole thing time-wise. I've been asked to be part of the chaplain staff at Jamesville Penitentiary. But they've given me a very light sentence. I only have to go 10 hours a week. I was thinking of 11:30 to 1:30, maybe 5 days. No, I'm going to go 2 days a week, 5 hours each day. And I can pick my days. I mean, talk about flexibility. So the more I thought about that, and I've never been involved in jail ministry, and I've always felt it would be a neat thing to do, it seemed like even more of a mesh. So it kind of got put together. But what I really want to share with you is how really wonderful you have been. As I look back on the 4.5 years, it has struck me that it's been the best 4.5 years of my diaconate life. I greatly enjoyed the other parishes that I was involved in, and they had wonderful people, but here was different. Here was special for 2 reasons, and in neither order. This isn't 1 and 2, it's whatever. It's 1 and 1A, maybe. The one reason is the staff. I wish I could share with you how incredibly cohesive the staff is. Those of you that are familiar with many of the members of the staff know of what I speak. We don't agree on everything, but there's never any squabbling. There's no turf wars. You're doing what I'm supposed to be doing kind of thing. Somebody needs some help, we provide it. It's just, it's an overused phrase and it's trite, but it's true. It's one happy family. And it's going to be very difficult to say goodbye to them. I don't think I will. In any event, that's one reason. The other reason is all of you. You have been really instrumental in making these 4.5 years as pleasant as they've been. For 3 things you've done. You've befriended me and you've supported me, and those are important. But you went beyond that. You have affirmed me. And that, really, think about, we all need affirmation in our lives. We need people who are going to say, you're doing a good job. Not every day, not every week, but now and then, and you do it regularly. And that buoys a person up, and that's what it's done for me. You have been meaningful, or made me feel meaningful in the life of this church. And you have given me the feeling that I mattered. And that is so rare. It's just been wonderful. And to instill that in another person speaks so highly of you. You've made me glad I came here. And you've made me very glad that I became a deacon. Thank you, and Merry Christmas. Thank you.